Hi, welcome to my kitchen. I am making a raw mango pie today, and this pie is so delicious. And if you take a little bit of time to prep, like soaking some dates, I like soaking them for about 2 hours to make them nice and soft. You want the pit-free variety of dates. And I also soak some dried mango, and the dried mango gets mixed and later layered over top of some fresh mango. This pie comes together quite quickly, and it is so delicious that I'm making it for dessert for tomorrow. I'm going to start with my manual food processor. This little food processor does the job when I don't want to lug out my big one. Now normally, since you have often made this pie when there's more of us, I have used my larger food processor, but right now it's just Daniel and I. So I'm going to try it in here and see how it works. What I'm going to do first is take some walnuts, and I am making a walnut like flour-free, grain-free crust. I'm going to take some walnuts and grind them up first. And you know, I often cook without a recipe, so I am just putting this in here and taking a guess. But let me see if my guess is good. So I'm going to put this lid on. What's beautiful about this is now those blades are going to go round and round, and I'm just going to pump this. I want to get a fairly crumbly, almost, not really flour, but flour-like consistency. Crumbly, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Not flour, but crumbly. And so after I get this the consistency I want, then I will take it out of here and I'll put the dates in and try to make a date paste with that. This is almost good. I'm going to do it a little bit more, and then I will show it to you. Yeah, I think this is totally fine, and I am going to pour it in here. So it is just crumbled into a fine, very fine chop. I could have done it a little bit more, but I know this is going to work just fine. I'm going to put that black in here. There's a little peg there that I rest this whole over top of. Then when I'm loading it with something chunky like dates, I want it to go even so that the blade isn't tipping off. Because these have been soaked, I actually soaked these overnight because I got the idea last night, started to soak, and then realized I was tired, so I headed to bed. So I'm going to put these in here. That may be enough. And it may need some of the soaking liquid. Don't throw the soaking, you're bouncing up and down because the camera, my iPad's attached to the table. So let's see. It is turning pasty, but I want a little liquid in here. So what you'll see is I've got a date paste now, and I am going to mix that in with my chopped nuts. I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon. And again, I often share recipes with you, but when I cook, I very seldom use recipes. This ratio of nuts to dates might be kind of opposite from what I normally do. I could maybe use a little more nuts and less dates, but it's going to be fine. The nice thing, cooking for my family, it doesn't matter what I cook. My boys always think that it tastes great. So I've really learned to experiment because they have appreciated everything I make. And, you know, one time I made this bread. I wanted to make homemade sourdough bread. And it's the first time I cultured my own sourdough using teff flour. I wanted it to be gluten-free. So I made the starter from cabbage leaves and letting it do its starter thing. And then I, waited the number of days and I made the bread. And I thought it was the absolute worst bread that I have ever tasted. It was rock hard. And when Daniel and Gabriel bit into it, Gabriel was about 11 years old. He goes, "Oh my God, Mama, this is so good. It's all crust." It was. It was rock solid all the way through. It was all crust. Personally, I'm not someone who admires crust on bread. So that was not my loaf of bread. He's begged me to make it ever since, and I just haven't been able to bring myself to doing that. I've also not made this in a spring form before, but I think it will look cute on a spring form. So I'm going to just put this mixture and pat it down. And if I was serving this to others, I might not use my hands, but I'm not. This is just for Daniel and myself. So I am not picky about whether or not I use my fingers. But there, I'll be a good girl and use the rubber spatula, which actually is working really well in here. So you want it to press down firmly. And I have no idea if this is going to work in a spring form or not, but I'm hoping it will. So that those dates add the sweetness, the nuts add a great texture, and the cinnamon and vanilla you can never go wrong with. So I've sliced up some fresh mango, and that's going to be the next layer. And you don't have to be super thin, but you want it, the whole bottom of this crust to get covered with mango. Was a pretty good guess. So just like that. Excuse me. Now I need to empty this out, the rest of my dates. Actually, I'm going to show you something later with that. Since my sink isn't here, I'll just take time to clean this out this way. So the next thing I'm going to do is create the filling that goes over top. And what I have are, do you remember those soaked mangoes I was telling you about? So dried mangoes keep for a long time. I always like just snacking on dried mango. They're great hiking food, full of nutrition. But when you reconstitute them, and again, I'm just using my hands, but I'm just going to reconstitute them here, and it becomes part of the filling that comes next. Again, you're going to pay attention to the consistency of this to see whether or not you need to add any of the soaking liquid. You can see how the manual food processor just mixes this around. And again, this I want to be a fairly smooth consistency. It's getting there. Let's see. I think I'm going to add a little bit more of this and just finish up what I've soaked here. I don't think it needs more water. But while I'm here, I am going to add some vanilla. So some vanilla went in the crust, some vanilla goes into this part of the filling. You know, if you have kids, this is a great tool to involve them in the kitchen. They can be here pumping away, making this part. And, you know, this processor also makes really, really good quick salsas, guacamole, all different things. I find I use it quite a bit. I make a really, really nice pesto in here. And it's just, you know, I can pull it out, and I've even taken this camping. Why not? I like to have nice food when I can. So let's check on that. Yes, this is looking good. This bowl is bigger than I need, but well, let's do that. Let's use this one. So you see, it's nice and creamy. So you've got this nice creamy mango. Now and the vanilla's in here. I'm taking shredded coconut, and I'm mixing this with shredded coconut. And actually, these shreds are bigger than I often use. I think I use more of a desiccated coconut, but it's still going to taste great. It just looks a little bit more obvious that it has coconut flakes in it, or yeah, flakes. I think this is flakes. I normally use shredded. So what you're looking for is a consistency that's kind of firm. I'm going to add a little bit more. You want it to hold together. Okay, I think this is perfect. So then I just take this consistency, mango, vanilla, coconut, put it over top. So it's a super mango-y pie. Because it's raw, it's not cooked, you're not losing any of the nutrients. And again, I've often made this in a 8 or 9 inch pie plate, but I really wanted to try this out. So again, pack it down. And then I wanted to top it with some kiwi slices, but I'm not so sure that this is very ripe, but we'll try it. I don't think it's very ripe. And I apologize for not doing this ahead of time. But I can at least put it on and you can see how pretty that would look on here. And if I was making this ahead of time, I would put the kiwi on the day that I was serving it. I would not put it on the day that I'm making it. But for you, my friends, I wanted to put it on right now. So that is how quick and simple it is to make. Okay, so I wanted you to see that. And then I probably should let this set in a refrigerator for a couple hours before trying this. But here we have it. Ta-da! Look at this beautiful coconut mango kiwi pie. Isn't that beautiful? I just think that it is so tasty and so yummy and such a quick way to make a really nutrition-packed dessert that I have never met anyone who doesn't like my mango pie. And that's how simple it is, folks. So I'd love to hear what you think about this kind of pie and whether you might consider making it for yourself.